Hello, boys and girls. Adrian from Audioexcellenceka Canada. Philip over here. Philip is alive.
I am alive.
He's been struggling with moving to his new space. And it's a lovely space. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen pictures. It's gorgeous. But
I discovered something about stairs.
You don't like them?
Well, my current place, the one I'm moving from,
Yeah.
has, staircases to get into where the door is, and then there's a landing, and then you have to go up these steps, right? And then I realized something this morning, and I was like, why is it so hard in my place, even when I go down the steps with stuff in it? And it's because the steps are small and the angle is very steep.
Yeah.
So that's very, very hard. At my new place, the steps are much deeper and the angle is more shallow. So just beware of that when you're moving stuff.
It's called getting old, my friend.
Well, that I am.
Anyway.
But so are you.
Yeah, big time. You can see all the white hair.
Yeah.
We apologize that we haven't uploaded videos in a very long time. We've just been totally swamped. We were at the Montreal show a couple, 3 weeks ago. And
some of us were.
Yeah, and ever since then it's been crazy busy. Yeah, unfortunately, both Alex, who's behind the camera, and Philip over here caught the dreaded C.
Supposedly I caught it first. I gave it to young Alex, and Alex was really suffering. And I was just lying in bed going like, this feels like a bad cold. It's not so bad, but I couldn't go anymore.
But they're alive. Thank God for that. Anyway, I figured that we haven't done a video about the used equipment haul that we get regularly. So why don't we just do that? And this way you can see some of the stuff that we just got in. So let's start with this.
The famous,
very rarely available McIntosh C1000 preamplifier. Now at the time you could actually buy the controller, the tube preamp, and the solid state amplifier. So you could actually have a preamp with 3 chassis or 2 depending on whether you wanted solid state or tube. So this is the C1000. This client has the tube version, and check out the very, very fancy remote control. Look at that. Unfortunately, they don't make remote controls this fancy anymore. This is absolutely gorgeous.
it's all metal.
Yeah,
Metal.
it's stunning. Okay, in addition to that, we've got the McIntosh MVP 871. That's a DVD player, CD player, and SSD player. That's the MEN 220. We've talked about this before. We did an unboxing. This is a room correction device. It works incredibly well. And we have 2 pairs of McIntosh MC 1.2 kW amplifiers. That's 1200 watts per amplifier regardless of impedance.
If you have it on 20 amps, it's 4.8K.
Suffice
That's
to say,
4,800 watts possible from that.
suffice to say, it'll play loud.
Sensational.
And then we've got the McIntosh XRT1 speakers. Alex will show you a picture later on.
That's not a mistake. Those are really all the drivers that are actually on this speaker. It's like amazing.
Yeah, it's designed to be like a line array design, so you want to sit about 8 feet or so away from the speakers, and then the sound that comes out of it will give you a sound stage much like a planar magnetic speaker like a Magnepan or large electrostatic speaker. So that's the McIntosh system that we have here. And then over here,
Special.
let's talk about this. So back in around 2002, 2003, Monster Cable decided that they wanted to release a whole series of very high quality power conditioners. Well, of course, some people are going to argue. I'm not here to argue. I'm just saying that they decided they wanted to make a line of very, very good power conditioners. And they recruited a gentleman called Damian Martin, who some of you may know was one of the original founding members of Spectral. If you don't know Spectral, look it up. Spectral makes some of the finest electronics in the world. Anyway, this particular product will regulate the output so that it's always at roughly 120 volts.
So if you're looking for one of these, this is the one to get. This is the AVS 2000.
Yes.
This was the best one they made.
Yes. Extremely well made. And in fact, when we turn on all the stuff that I just showed you, you can see temporarily the voltage dips and then it goes back up to about 120 volts. And we've got a couple of these. Now I'm going to show you other stuff that we also got in, so he'll cut the video and we'll resurface in a moment. Okay, so here's another interesting thing that we just got in. These are the JM Lab Utopias. So many of you know the brand that is now called Focal, but before it was called Focal, it was called JM Lab.
Well, a lot of people like to say Focal. I don't understand why. It's a French company.
French company, Focal.
It's Focal.
So anyway, these speakers, one owner, incredibly heavy, something like 200 some odd pounds, solidly built.
Yeah, Alex couldn't move this by himself. It's pretty funny watching him trying to and struggle with it.
At the time, they were using all the very best drivers that they were manufacturing. And of course, Focal makes all the drivers themselves. There are some very interesting design cues. Alex will show you perhaps on a picture, but these are tilted. They're not flat up and down.
Is it for time alignment?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And then the other thing that's also interesting is that on the side of the speakers, there are badging that shows the what is it? Is this Utopia? Yeah, it says Utopia on the speaker, so it actually tells you which model this is. And then, of course, on the back of the speaker, you'll see beautiful binding posts, beautifully made in mint condition. Comes with the crates and manual and spikes.
And
yes,
the super fancy. Here, we'll do.
These are made of solid MDF.
No grills per
Yeah.
se, but definitely protective covers.
That's right. So this is actually solid MDF that they've cut out. That's what it looks like.
So if you have children running around, they will not be able to damage this speaker. Well, unless they pull the grills off.
So anyway, that's the Utopias.
What about the tweeter, Adrian?
What about the tweeter?
So this is, what is the material?
I want to say titanium dioxide, but I'm not
But it's got a
100%
coating on it, right? But
Yeah.
this is actually relatively smooth sounding,
Yeah.
not like some of the newer stuff.
That's right, yeah. Okay, now we're going to show you other stuff in the other rooms, so we'll cut this.
Do you not want to show you
Oh,
stuff?
that's right, sorry.
So that's pretty special.
We have two JL Audio Fathom F212 subwoofers. These are one level below the top of the line of the Gotham. And truthfully, you don't need the Gotham. This is incredible.
But there are two of them here. But the interesting thing about it is that obviously 12-inch drivers.
Yeah.
So the drivers are relatively small for this type of subwoofer, which has big output. So these are fairly fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
JL Audio, some of you may know, came to fame because of their involvement in very high-end car audio. So you're thinking, well, car audio.
Well, no, that's bass.
That's right. But here's the thing. If you think about the environment in a car, it's extremely punishing. You leave your car out in the middle of winter, it can get very, very cold, and in the middle of summer, it can get very, very hot and humid. So their drivers are very rugged, and they can play at extreme low levels in terms of frequency and very high output levels with very, very low distortion. So that's JL Audio. You can use them for home theater, and
You can definitely use them in a high-end system. I
Yeah.
have many friends who they buy this brand just for that reason, because the integration can be just spectacular.
yeah, all adjustments in the front. And if I'm not wrong, you can also do an auto calibration as well.
Is this a version 1 or version 2?
I think it's a version 1.
Version
yeah.
1. Okay.
Yeah, I think you stick the microphone in here, but I don't think the client has the microphone. So
So it's a manual calibration to begin with.
Yeah.
The newer version does have an auto calibration, but anyways, you would want to fiddle around with this. It's pretty cool to play around with.
and these are some of the connections in the back. So you have balanced RCA, balanced. This is the output. So I guess you would
Daisy
connect
chain?
this to, yeah, that's right. One would be designated, and don't make comments, master versus slave. That's just how the industry calls it, and of course the power. Okay, now we're going to show you other stuff. So here we are in our pre-owned room. Alex will show you some pictures of our big mess in here later, and excuse the light flickering. This is the Lin isobaric.
The famous Lin isobaric. This was the wet dream of many young
including me.
audiophiles.
Including me. I first heard them back in the 80s. I was totally blown away by how dynamic and tuneful they were, and I had no words to describe it back then. I didn't know what that meant. I just knew that it was extremely
Look, it's a
involving.
car audio speaker. It's just like a Jensen 6x9.
That's a KEF B139.
I know, but it looks like
There's actually two. The reason why they call it isobaric is because behind this, there's another one working in tandem. So if you're looking for a speaker that's very emotionally engaging, this is one of those speakers that will do that. You do need an amplifier that will drive it properly, typically a Lin amplifier or a name amplifier, something with some power and current.
So yeah, I came in with a complete name system using a chrome bumper NAP 250. Sounds fabulous.
Chrome bumper?
That's what
Is that what they're
it.
called?
Yeah, the original series is chrome bumper. There's chrome bumper, there's olive, and then there's
Olive, I knew, yeah.
Yeah.
And then dedicated stands, and of course there are drivers at the top as well.
oh, no foam grills. They all disintegrated. So
So a little trick, go to Canadian Tire or an equivalent. What's the equivalent in the States? Pet Boys? I don't know.
I don't know.
They sell these humidifier foam. You just
7-Eleven?
cut- Yeah, you can
7-Eleven.
cut them into strips and you put it in. And just behind us, look, we just got a shipment of a whole bunch of
So these are
Wilsons.
ordered in like December. They finally showed up. So that's the
These
4
are Sabrina's,
Sabrina's
waiting for clients to pick up.
already sold.
Actually, we're actually delivering them, but this is just a portion of the shipment that we got in from Wilson's. We're just getting them staged to deliver them and install them.
Oh, we also have this.
Oh yes, that's right. These are
So
Martin
these just
Logan
came in.
Ascents. Yeah, these belong to Angus's uncle, Martin Logan Ascents. We haven't. I think we've tested them yet. I
Yeah,
don't know.
they sound fine. And the thing is, originally we sold them to Angus's
that
uncle.
right?
Yeah, Michael Tang sold them. to him.
Okay, okay, all right.
So this kind of circle thing that happens.
All right. Okay, so for those of you who are interested in the pricing and so on, just go to our website. Alex will link the information in the description box, and you can see how much these things are going for. Some of it will probably already be sold by the time the video goes up, but we've got a couple more things to show you, so we'll see you in a bit. So we have more goodies to show you, starting over here. That's a McIntosh MT10 turntable. That's the top of the line.
It's got meters. It's
That's
actually
right.
got a meter here.
Yeah. So, and it comes with an external power supply. It's manufactured for McIntosh by Clear Audio. I guess McIntosh does a co-development with them. And the bearing is magnetic. So this platter is actually a magnetic bearing. Then, and it comes with, of course, the arm. The cartridge, unfortunately, needs to be replaced. The cantilever is missing.
It snapped off.
Yeah.
It seriously snapped off.
So then we have a Levinson number 28 preamplifier. Is this a line stage? Does this have a phono stage or no?
Theoretically, it might have a phono stage. We have to check it.
Okay, so we'll have to check that. The preamplifier works properly. The only thing is that these two knobs here are dummy knobs.
Right.
The originals somehow broke off, so our erstwhile technician has put on these dummy knobs, so you cannot turn these.
Yeah, so basically that is, what is that?
That's
It's a
a-
monitor switch, so you can have two monitors here, but it's only on monitor or tape one. And then this is record switch in terms of selecting an input.
Yeah, so in other words, the output. Okay, then we've got the legendary Levinson 333 power amplifier. This thing is a beast. Weighs a ton, puts out 300 watts into 8, 600 into 4, and 1200 into 2 ohms. The amplifier has been completely rebuilt as of last year with all the power supply caps and so on. The bill was, I think, close to $3,000 before discount from the technician.
It took a year. It took a year for it to do the work.
That's the power supply for the preamplifier. Now that's a VPI Scout with the dedicated arm. And what cartridge is that?
Well, the cartridge is not really functional. The arm is the JMW9, and it just came back from service. Everything is working correctly. We just need to put a new cartridge on it. The cantilever, the suspension on the cantilever on that Dynavector petrified. So it's hard rubber instead of compliant rubber, and it bounces around.
Okay, that's not good.
That's not good.
Okay, then we have the legend, the Lin LP12 with the ETOC tone arm and the Clyde cartridge.
Right, so this one has Origin Live, DC 100, direct a DC motor upgrade to it, and so there's actually on
33 and 45 on the little controller there, and you can actually adjust the speed from the controller. So that's a nice little thing.
And then we have the name NAC42 preamplifier with the snaps power supply, and the NAP, what is it?
NAP 250.
250.
See, this is what I mean by chrome bumper. Do you see the little bit of chrome
okay.
here?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. This system actually sounds really good. Even after all these years, it sounds really, really nice. Yeah, and in fact, it belongs to the same gentleman that we showed the Lin isobarics.
Right.
That's what he was using to drive that system, and it sounds
So
marvelous.
the turntable that works perfectly with this system is that.
That's
was
the
his.
other Lin. That's right. The other Lin LP12 with the ETOG and the ASA cartridge. What's the suspension called back then? The upgrade to the power switch.
Oh, it's Valhalla.
switch.
It's got
The Valhalla.
So you can tell it's Valhalla because there's one LED here on this toggle switch. If you want to play 45 on this, you actually need to get an adapter, which we don't have.
Who plays 45?
Both of the turntables, they come with dust covers.
Yeah.
So that's sort of nice.
And then finally in this room, we've got the Sony XA777ES. That's a SACD player.
SACD player, so this was the one that came after the famous SCD-1. So this one is actually quite nice. It's very good sounding, even for the age. It has a remote.
And it's built really well, as you'd expect.
It's heavy. It's like about 30 pounds.
Yeah. Anytime you see a Sony ES, it means it's their premium series. It's beautifully made and typically sounds very, very nice as well. Okay, so I think we've shown you something like 15 units. We've got more, but otherwise the video is going to get too long. So thanks again for watching the whole thing. Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, share with your friends. Comments below if you own some of this stuff or thoughts about what you think. And we'll see you next time. Adrian from Audio Excellence Canada, Philip, Alex behind the camera, who thankfully this time around hasn't screwed up too much. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.